Hey, this is Blaine with sfbtraders.com. It's been a while since I've did a video watch list, and one of the reasons we've been switching over websites, stocksforbeer.com is now sfbtraders.com. Anyway, first stock I'm watching for Monday, January 14th is BCRX. Broke out over 180 on Friday on a decent volume increase. I'm actually long right at 180, so I'll be looking for follow through over Friday's high to continue this higher. Probably has room towards 2, and if that can break, then possibly even 240. We'll just have to see what the momentum's doing at the time. But if it starts to fade back, then I'll probably just cut it even and not take a loss on it at this point. MITK, the 4 spot was a sweet breakout move over on Friday. Looking for follow through over 420 to see if we can't get a push towards 450 or maybe even 480. I wouldn't be surprised to see it get 5 at some point in the near future if this $4 area can hold. AEZS daily chart looks like it's due for another breakout push higher over 275. Looks like we have a gap to fill towards 310 or so. If I scroll back out here, six months, so we still got a gap to fill towards 3 or 310 on that daily chart. So decent trade opportunity there. PRKR, I'll be interested to see if we can get a push over this high from December. If it does, then we might get a push back towards these highs back in September, but for a potential long trade opportunity there. Of course, I got to mention TELK, which had an awesome run on Friday. I mentioned this thing just below 2, and it ran all the way towards 3, so we got a 50% winner out of it. Huge volume on FDA approval, some orphan drug status or something on one of their drugs. I don't really care. It made a nice little short squeeze there at the end of the day. Basically, if it can open weak and then break through that 3 mark, I'd be tempted to play it long for a quick trade. If it gaps up and then starts to spike even more, I might be trying to look to short it. So we'll just have to see what it gives us. I don't expect volume to be this high as it was on Friday, so we'll just have to see where it goes and what it does from there. So, like, if a weak open, then I might be long biased if it can break through the highs. If not, if it starts to fade back, then I might be short biased again. So, just probably short biased all around. But the only way I'd really play it long at this point is if it opens weak and we get a nice breakout over the high from Friday. DNDN could go higher. This line I drew is right there at 624, which was the high from this day earlier in January, and then 624 was also the high on Friday. So if it breaks 624, then it might potentially set up to go long for us and get a push higher. KGJI seems to get a run once in a while. Watch for follow through over 160, maybe get a push towards 180, and then if it breaks through that 180 mark, like it did back in May of 2012, it ran all the way towards $3. So I'm not saying it goes to $3, but it definitely has a chance to run. So just keep your eye on these two levels here for day trade potential. REDF, nice pop on Friday. Probably gets a push towards 4 if it can follow through over Friday's high as well. Nice trend off this bottom. So should be in play if SIFY kind of also does the same thing. SIFY needs over 240 for follow through from Friday mark, which was the high there. And if it does, you might see 270, and if it gets through 270, then possibly 3. But we'll just see what it does and play what it gives us. VELT, nice volume spike on Friday as well. Looking for a follow through over 550 for the confirmed breakout from this range back in December. Has room towards 6 and still has somewhat of a gap to fill towards 650 from back in November when it gapped down here. So potential day trade opportunity if we can break through that 550 mark. I did alert this on Friday in the chat room right on the 5 break, so potentially 10% as it ran all the way towards 550. So that 550 was confirmed resistance, and basically moving forward now, if we can get through that 550 mark, then it could be playable again to the upside. Couple higher price ones now. We got DK, solid setup and breakout over 27 last Friday. Huge move. It ran $2.50 there. Basically looking for follow through. Otherwise, consolidation. Maybe get some sideways action before it breaks out and goes higher. Just keep it on watch though. I think this could definitely set up to make us some more money in the future. RIMM, nice breakout over the range here on Friday, over about 1250. Ran a buck after that, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing test 14, maybe even these highs. And if it can do that early, then it might be worth shorting back down to fill this gap, and then possibly long in again after it pulls back and then heads back up to test 14 and possibly break out and go higher. We'll just have to see what it does though. That's probably my game plan, but like I said, things change and we'll just have to see what it gives us. I'm also watching Best Buy BBY, but this was alerted pretty much right in the open, so potentially could have made a buck a share there. Let's see, the level here is about 1440-ish was the bottom of this range, and the top of this was 1450. This was on Friday's high was 1438, so yeah, right there at that 1440-ish level. If it can get through that 1440 mark, then it might get a push towards 15 for another day trade opportunity. We'll just have to see where it opens and go from there. But definitely keep BBY on your watch list. BCOV looks like it might be due for a pop if it can get through 10. It has room back towards 11 from this acted as support for there for a couple months and then it broke down. So if it can get back through 10, then it might get a push to 11 over a couple days. AFFX looks like we have a gap to fill towards about 4-ish, possibly 430-ish, so there might be 50 cents in it there if it can break through this 375 380 mark. FACL, I could argue an ascending triangle here off the bottom trying to break out. Looks like you probably need to follow through over 260 from this high back in November, and if it does that, it might be worth day trading towards 280 or 3. You can see there was resistance there at 3 from back in February of last year. I guess this is the time of year it likes to run higher as it ran back in February and March, so definitely has potential there. The only thing that scares me is the lack of volume, so if any big seller comes in and just could whack it down in a hurry, so just got to watch your size. And now a couple OTC stocks here. I got AAMRQ, which has been on a heck of a run since coming off the bottom. It's up. I suggested buying this again as it came off the dip here about 83, 85 range, and now it's doubled up here about 160. Definitely be looking to potentially short this if we get a gap up and run. Then definitely going to be short biased. If we get a weak open and it can break through Friday's high, then who knows, maybe it gets another push towards 2, but the volume has just been unreal lately. It's pretty easy. It's so easy to get in and out, just even if you're playing huge. So we'll see what it gives us. Nonetheless, keep AAMRQ on watch for potentially both long and short setups. BMSN, potential subby runner coming off bottom. It ran once, pulled back, now it's trying to break out again. I'll zoom in a minute to show you that, but looking at the long-term chart here, you can see back in June of 2012 it had a nice run. It definitely is capable of running, so that's one of the main reasons why I'm watching this thing. Anyway, let's zoom in here to we'll pull up the 3-month chart. You'll get a feel for the breakout that needs to happen here over 0.0024. If that happens, then it might be ready to run back towards that 0.005 level. I'll zoom out just a little more. So there you go. You can kind of see, obviously my line in the first line was crooked, but looks like this was going to act as resistance here at 0.0024. If that can break, then it might be ready to push towards 0.003 or even higher back towards that 0.005 mark. That's your watch list for January the 14th. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll see you in the trading room.